Welcome to Trending Notice Media, a place of remembrance, awareness, and reflection. Every day, lives are changed, some lost, some missing, and others impacted by unforeseen accidents. At Trending Notice Media, we honor those stories, sharing the names, the faces, and the moments that matter. Whether it's the quiet passing of a loved one, the urgent search for a missing soul, or a tragic incident that's left families in shock, we're here to keep their memories and voices present. This channel is not about sensationalism. It's about humanity, about acknowledging pain, celebrating lives, and keeping the public informed with compassion and dignity. We understand these are sensitive topics. That's why our goal is to treat every notice, every name, with the utmost care and respect. If you find yourself here to honor someone, to stay informed, or simply to reflect, we welcome you. You are not alone. Thank you for joining us on Trending Notice Media. Please consider subscribing, and together, let's continue to give voice to those who matter. 1. Dr. Cade Carlson, Denver, Colorado. Today, we gather in voice and spirit to reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. Cade Carlson, a cherished member of the Denver, Colorado community whose recent passing by suicide has left family, friends, colleagues, and patients in deep mourning. Over the next 20 minutes, we will journey through Cade's story, who he was, the lives he touched, the silent struggles he faced, and the lessons we are called to carry forward in his name. Cade was more than a dentist. He was a light in the lives of many, a steady, reassuring presence whose dedication to healing went beyond teeth and gums. He practiced with heart, always putting the comfort and dignity of his patients first. Many in Denver knew him simply as Dr. Cade, the one who made dentist visits feel less scary, the one who remembered your dog's name, your child's school, or the trip you said you were planning the last time you saw him. He had a gift, a natural ability to connect with people. Whether it was a child's first dental visit or a senior citizen's long overdue appointment, Cade approached every situation with patience, empathy, and a quiet sense of humor. His office was a place of calm, where patients felt safe and seen. He was known to stay after hours to accommodate a working parent's schedule, to make emergency calls to worried patients, or to personally check in after a difficult procedure. Outside of work, Cade was just as thoughtful. He loved Colorado's outdoors, the crisp mountain air, the long bike rides through scenic trails, the meditative peace of hiking alone. Friends remember him as a loyal companion, someone who never missed a birthday, who always responded to texts with thoughtful replies, who showed up when it mattered most. He valued connection, even if he didn't always reveal the full extent of what he was going through himself. Because behind Cade's warmth and generosity was a personal struggle, a fight with mental health that he rarely made public. Like so many who deal with anxiety, depression, or burnout, Cade carried his burdens quietly. On the outside, he seemed strong, successful, content, but on the inside, he was hurting. The news of his death shocked those who knew him. The idea that someone who gave so much could feel so lost, so alone, feels unbearable. But it's a truth we must confront, that even the most compassionate, the most giving among us can be in pain. Suicide is often not a sign of selfishness or weakness. It is the tragic end of a storm that has raged silently for too long. We must talk about this. We must open our hearts and minds to the reality that mental health is health, that success, smiles, and service do not immunize anyone from depression, that men, especially those in high-pressure caregiving professions like dentistry, often suffer in silence due to stigma or fear of judgment. In Cade's memory, we are called to listen more deeply, to notice the signs, to reach out, to ask the uncomfortable questions. Are you okay? Really okay? And we're called to make space for vulnerability, not as a flaw, but as a brave and necessary part of being human. Cade's passing has led to a groundswell of support in the Denver community. Patients have written in to share stories of how he eased their fears or helped them find confidence in their smiles. Colleagues have come together to speak about burnout, about the emotional toll of constant caregiving. Local and national dental associations are starting to organize mental health resources and workshops, something Cade might have quietly appreciated. His family, in their grief, have spoken with grace and courage. They've encouraged others to learn from Cade's story, to show love loudly, and to advocate for mental health care. In their statement, they asked us to choose compassion, choose openness, and most importantly, to choose life. There are resources. There is help. If you or someone you know is struggling, you don't have to face it alone. Whether through a friend, a therapist, a hotline, or a crisis counselor, connection saves lives. And while we wish Cade had found that bridge back to hope, we can honor him by helping others find theirs. To the friends still in shock, to the colleagues feeling the void in their workday, to the patients who feel the loss in their next appointment, know this: Cade's spirit lives on in the care we offer one another, in the way we show up, in the way we soften our tone, in the way we remember. He is survived not just by family and loved ones, but by a whole city that now feels quieter in his absence. And yet in that quiet, we can hear what he stood for: empathy, excellence, and unwavering presence. So today, we remember Dr. Cade Carlson. We remember his laugh, his listening ear, his dedication to helping others feel whole. We say his name with love, with sadness, and with gratitude. May we carry his light forward, not just in memory, but in action. May we care more boldly, love more honestly, and ask each other more often how we are really doing.
2. Jean Newberry, Montpelier, Vermont. This is a remembrance and reflection in honor of Jean Newberry, a 40-year-old woman from Montpelier, Vermont, whose life was tragically cut short after she was reported missing and later found deceased. Her story is one of love, community concern, and the enduring importance of staying connected to each other and to the quiet struggles people may be facing. Jean Newberry was last heard from on Saturday, July 5th, after which she unexpectedly failed to appear for work the following Monday. Those who knew Jean say that her work wasn't just a job, it was something she cared deeply about, a source of fulfillment and connection. Her absence triggered immediate concern, especially among family members and close friends, who knew it was unlike her to disappear without notice. Her sister, Meg Klein, quickly took to social media to amplify the alarm, posting a heartfelt plea on Facebook that resonated across the Montpelier community and beyond. In her post, Meg wrote, "We are terrified for her safety. Please help us find Jean." The urgency of the situation was palpable. Within hours, the story spread, and concerned residents began organizing, sharing Jean's photo and details about her last known whereabouts. One of the key turning points in the search came when authorities located Jean's gray Toyota Prius. The car, which bore new Vermont plates and a Stanford Dad bumper sticker, was found abandoned on a remote road near Montpelier. This discovery prompted an immediate search of the surrounding wooded areas. Family members, local police, and eventually the Vermont State Police coordinated their efforts. Search and rescue personnel, with the assistance of trained dogs and aerial support, began combing the trails and forests. Tragically, Jean's body was found a short distance from the location of her vehicle. Her sister later confirmed the news in an emotional update shared with the community. The response was swift and sorrowful. Vigils were organized. Friends and colleagues posted tributes to Jean online, reflecting on her kindness, her intelligence, and the many ways she gave to those around her. Though foul play has not yet been officially confirmed or ruled out, investigators immediately secured the area for forensic analysis. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner ordered an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of Jean's death. Until conclusive results are released, the circumstances remain under investigation. Authorities have also asked the public to avoid the trail where Jean was found, to preserve the integrity of the investigation. As we reflect on Jean's life, it is important to honor not just the manner in which she passed, but the woman she was. Jean was known for her warmth and insight, a friend to many, a mentor to some, and a vibrant presence in the professional circles she was a part of. She had a way of making others feel welcomed and heard. Whether it was a casual conversation or a structured meeting, Jean showed up fully, present, thoughtful, and sincere. She was also deeply committed to her family. Her relationship with her sister Meg was strong and rooted in shared values, mutual respect, and lifelong support. Her parents, Paul and Susan Newberry of Middlebury, remembered Jean as compassionate and driven, someone who found purpose in helping others, and who remained curious about the world around her. Jean was not someone who took shortcuts. She was meticulous in her work, often going above and beyond what was expected of her. Her colleagues describe her as a true professional, reliable, dedicated, and always willing to offer a helping hand or a listening ear. In her line of work, she often advocated for equity and access, helping create more inclusive spaces within her organization and community. Her voice mattered, and she used it wisely. Her disappearance brought about an enormous wave of collective concern. Volunteers came from neighboring towns to help in the search. Posters were printed and handed out. Social media lit up with messages of support, offers of help, and expressions of hope. It was a testament to how deeply people cared, even those who may have only known her in passing or through a friend of a friend. And that sense of collective concern didn't disappear after her body was found. Instead, it transformed into a wave of mourning and remembrance. People gathered not just to grieve, but to celebrate Jean's life, to share stories, and to find comfort in community. Candles were lit, prayers were spoken, and tears were shed. In many ways, Jean's passing has become a point of reflection for many in Montpelier, a reminder of how important it is to stay connected, to check in, to notice when someone who's usually reliable doesn't show up. It's also led to conversations about safety in rural areas and the importance of rapid response systems when someone goes missing. The conversation has also extended to mental health, how communities can be better equipped to support those who may be silently suffering. Jean, like many others, was known to carry so much strength for those around her, but strength doesn't always mean someone isn't struggling. Her story has inspired local groups to organize listening circles, wellness check initiatives, and increased mental health resource sharing through local clinics and nonprofits. The effort to turn grief into action is ongoing, just as Jean herself would have wanted. The investigation into Jean Newberry's death continues, and her family remains at the center of that process, supported by friends, investigators, and neighbors who will not let her memory fade. They've asked for privacy as they grieve, but they've also expressed gratitude for the outpouring of love and support. Moving forward, Jean's family is working with local officials and nonprofit organizations to establish a memorial scholarship fund in her name. The fund will support women in Vermont pursuing careers in social work, community health, or public service, fields Jean was passionate about. Her legacy, they say, will be one of action, compassion, and service. Plans are also underway for an annual community walk in Jean's memory, aimed at raising awareness for missing persons, improving public safety tools, and highlighting the importance of community vigilance. The first walk is expected to take place next spring, and organizers hope it will become a tradition rooted in remembrance and unity. As we close this tribute, we remember Jean not solely for how she was lost, but for all the ways she lived. Her laughter, her love of nature, her commitment to doing good work, and her dedication to those she cared about. She will be missed dearly, not only by her family, but by the entire Montpelier community and all who were touched by her light. May Jean Newberry's soul rest in peace, and may her story continue to inspire vigilance, compassion, and the unrelenting pursuit of truth.
3. Fredrik Dahlqvist. Next, we take time to reflect on and honor the remarkable life and legacy of Fredrik Dahlqvist, a senior partner at McKinsey & Company and the global co-leader of its private equity and principal investors practice, who tragically passed away in a fatal accident. Fredrik was not only a distinguished strategist and leader, but a compassionate mentor and a global voice for transformation, innovation, and inclusion. His sudden loss has left a deep void in the international consulting and investment community. Fredrik's professional journey began in 2000 when he joined McKinsey's Stockholm and London offices as a young consultant. From the very beginning, he stood out, not just for his analytical brilliance, but for his calm demeanor, his ability to bring clarity to complexity, and his commitment to team success. His colleagues recall how he always prioritized listening first, absorbing challenges with patience before proposing solutions rooted in both data and empathy. By 2013, Fredrik was named senior partner, having led countless high-profile transformations across financial services, industrials, technology, insurance, and consumer sectors. As managing partner for the Nordic offices, he brought together regional expertise with global strategy, strengthening McKinsey's presence in Europe and beyond. Later, as global co-leader of the private capital practice, Fredrik's work influenced some of the most critical investment strategies of the past decade. He advised sovereign wealth funds, private equity firms, pension investors, and government entities on portfolio growth, structural reform, IPO readiness, and exit planning. 4. Kevin McKelvey. Next, we remember the life of Kevin McKelvey, a passionate environmentalist, educator, and beloved member of the Central Indiana Land Trust, who tragically lost his life in a recent vehicle accident. His death has left an indelible mark on the conservation community across Indiana and beyond. Kevin's life was a testament to the power of local action, ecological stewardship, and the belief that preserving natural spaces isn't just a profession, it's a lifelong calling. Kevin McKelvey was many things: a professor, a poet, a conservationist, and above all, a collaborator. He was a faculty member at the University of Indianapolis, where he worked tirelessly to bridge the gap between ecological sciences and the humanities. Through his interdisciplinary teaching and outreach, Kevin made sustainability accessible to people of all backgrounds. He believed that nature wasn't separate from humanity. It was something we are all deeply a part of. In the classroom, Kevin brought the outside world in. encouraging students to view environmental challenges not only through data, but through the lens of creativity, ethics, and cultural identity. His commitment to the Central Indiana Land Trust was both professional and personal. Kevin helped the organization identify and preserve ecologically significant areas, woodlands, wetlands, and prairies that provide refuge for threatened species and future generations alike. But he didn't just work on paper. He was out on trails, mapping flora, talking with local residents, and mentoring young conservationists who saw in him both inspiration and direction. His role in the Land Trust's mission extended beyond strategy. He embodied the heart of its vision. Those who work with Kevin speak of his kindness, his humility, and his remarkable gift for bringing people together. Whether in a board meeting or on a muddy forest path, Kevin brought clarity, optimism, and a can-do spirit that made the impossible feel achievable. He was just as comfortable giving a keynote address as he was planting trees with students. His ability to communicate the urgency and beauty of conservation through both scientific precision and poetic language made him unique among his peers. Kevin had an instinct for balance, grounded in science, elevated by art. Outside of his conservation work, Kevin was a gifted writer and poet. His creative voice helped shape public awareness of environmental issues in Indiana. He published essays, taught creative writing workshops, and organized community storytelling events focused on rural and ecological themes. His work reflected not only an understanding of nature's complexity, but a deep reverence for its beauty. His poetry was often inspired by the landscapes he fought to protect: prairies rolling with golden grass, wetlands alive with birdsong, forests dense with memory and life. He saw the earth not just as terrain, but as narrative, alive with meaning. Kevin also led immersive field experiences for students, multi-day excursions that blended environmental science with art, writing, and reflection. He encouraged students to journal under open skies, to listen to frogs at dusk, and to think deeply about their place in the ecosystem. For many, these experiences were life-changing, opening their eyes not only to the natural world, but to careers in stewardship and advocacy. Kevin's mentorship didn't end with a semester. It followed students into their professional lives, often serving as a guiding voice of encouragement years later. Beyond his work in academia and conservation, Kevin was a community builder. He collaborated with local artists, civic leaders, and environmental organizations on public engagement projects that brought environmental literacy to everyday Hoosiers. He helped organize neighborhood cleanups, community garden builds, and storytelling nights in rural libraries, all aimed at creating deeper, more lasting connections to place. His goal wasn't just to protect land, but to foster a culture that values it. The news of his sudden death shocked many. Tributes poured in from colleagues, students, friends, and organizations across the Midwest. The Central Indiana Land Trust released a statement honoring Kevin as a champion of the land, a generous soul, and a visionary for future generations. University leaders and former students echoed the sentiment, sharing stories of how Kevin's mentorship extended far beyond the classroom. He encouraged creativity, demanded thoughtfulness, and never lost his sense of humor, even when discussing the gravest environmental challenges. In every circle he moved through, Kevin left behind the quiet confidence of someone who knew that even small changes mattered deeply. Kevin McKelvey is survived by his family, his university community, and a wide network of fellow conservationists, artists, and writers. Plans are currently underway for a public memorial and a tree planting initiative in his honor, fitting for a man who spent his life planting seeds of change. The University of Indianapolis has announced the creation of a scholarship fund in his name, dedicated to students pursuing careers in environmental communication, writing, and land stewardship. The Central Indiana Land Trust has also proposed naming one of its protected nature preserves after Kevin, a living monument to his unwavering devotion to the land. A group of his former students is working together to publish a chapbook of his selected writings, with proceeds benefiting ecological education programs in underserved communities. Kevin's work taught many that environmentalism isn't a solitary act. It's about connection. It's about weaving together science, story, and spirit in a way that touches hearts and minds alike. He leaves behind not only the land he helped protect, but the minds he shaped and the hearts he touched. In remembering Kevin, we are reminded that conservation is not just science, it's storytelling, it's community, and it's care. His legacy will continue in the landscapes he cherished and in the many who were moved to protect them by his example. Kevin showed us that the most powerful environmental work begins with love, for place, for people, and for the shared future we can create. As we reflect on Kevin McKelvey's life, may we carry forward his passion for the environment, his belief in grassroots action, and his unwavering hope in a better, greener future. Let us plant with intention, teach with joy, and walk the trails he once did with gratitude and awe. Let us write our own verses with care for the earth and each other, just as Kevin did, word by word, step by step.
4. Coleman Clarke, Bozeman, Montana. Today, we remember the life of Coleman Clarke, a bright and deeply admired student at Montana State University in Bozeman, Montana, whose untimely passing has left his campus and community in mourning. Coleman, a student in the university's snow science and avalanche control program, was pursuing a degree that combined his love for nature, science, and adventure. His sudden loss is felt not only by those closest to him, but by the entire university community that had come to know and respect him. Coleman was known for his curiosity, humility, and passion for the outdoors. As someone deeply connected to Montana's natural landscape, he was often seen exploring the backcountry, participating in field research, or volunteering for conservation efforts. His friends describe him as someone who was always willing to lend a hand, share knowledge, or simply sit and marvel at the beauty of the mountains. His love for snow science was not simply academic, it was personal. He respected the environment with a maturity beyond his years. He often spoke about the balance between scientific observation and intuitive understanding when navigating mountain terrain. Coleman approached snow science with a blend of reverence and responsibility. He understood the risks and took safety seriously, always encouraging his peers to do the same. His professors admired his sense of responsibility and his insistence on teamwork during field exercises, where trust and caution are paramount. Faculty members recall Coleman as an exceptional student
who brought energy, insight, and a collaborative spirit into the classroom. His ability to connect scientific theory with real-world application made him stand out. He asked thoughtful questions, challenged assumptions, and inspired those around him to dig deeper into their own work. Coleman was not just preparing for a career, he was preparing to make a difference. Outside the classroom, Coleman engaged with the community through local environmental groups and student-led climate initiatives. He volunteered on trail maintenance crews, tutored underclassmen in math and physics, and helped organize winter safety workshops on campus. His leadership was quiet but effective. People listened when he spoke because he led by example. He also participated in internships with regional avalanche centers and conservation labs, contributing to important fieldwork and data collection that informed winter safety measures across Montana. Coleman was particularly passionate about increasing public awareness around avalanche preparedness, and he often helped lead demonstrations and seminars for local schools and outdoor clubs. His communication style, approachable, enthusiastic, and deeply informed, made a lasting impression on everyone he taught. His passing has led to an outpouring of grief and remembrance from the MSU community. Vigils have been held on campus, with students, professors, and loved ones gathering to share stories and honor his legacy. The university's Department of Earth Sciences expressed deep sorrow, remembering Coleman as an emerging scientist with limitless potential, and more importantly, a kind and decent human being. His advisors and classmates posted heartfelt tributes across social media, reflecting on his honesty, sense of humor, and unwavering commitment to the greater good. In the wake of his death, the university has opened counseling services and created a memorial space for students to gather, reflect, and grieve. There is also a growing movement among Coleman's classmates and mentors to establish a memorial scholarship in his name, one that would support future students in the snow science program and continue Coleman's spirit of curiosity and care. Several of his close friends have proposed creating a memorial bench near Hyalite Canyon, one of Coleman's favorite hiking and skiing spots. They hope it will serve as a place for future students to rest, reflect, and feel inspired, just as Coleman so often was by the natural world. The bench would bear an inscription from one of Coleman's favorite quotes, "The mountains are calling, and I must go," a line he felt captured the quiet call to purpose he so faithfully followed. In addition to local tributes, national organizations in snow science and avalanche safety have taken note of Coleman's promising career and tragic loss. Some are considering creating annual Student Achievement Awards or research grants in his memory. His story has resonated with aspiring scientists and professionals alike, many of whom saw in him a new generation of environmental leadership defined by compassion, intellect, and integrity. Coleman Clarke's legacy will live on in the trails he walked, the data he helped collect, the friendships he built, and the values he embodied. He is survived by his family, who have asked for privacy during this incredibly difficult time, and by a circle of friends, peers, and professors who will carry forward the lessons he shared both in word and action. As we remember Coleman, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of community. His story is a poignant call to cherish the people around us, to follow our passions with purpose, and to live each day with the same quiet courage and generosity that Coleman so naturally radiated.
6. Taylor Brooks, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Today, we take a moment to remember and honor the life of Taylor Brooks, a vibrant young woman from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, whose life was tragically cut short in a recent fatal crash. Her unexpected passing has sent waves of grief through her family, friends, and the wider Lawrenceburg community, as many struggle to come to terms with the loss of someone so full of life, compassion, and promise. Taylor Brooks was more than just a name and a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a caring member of her hometown community. Known for her warm smile, generous spirit, and strong sense of empathy, Taylor left a mark on everyone she encountered. Whether it was helping a neighbor, volunteering at a local event, or simply being a supportive friend, she carried herself with kindness and integrity. Details surrounding the accident remain under investigation, but what has been confirmed is that Taylor lost her life in a multi-vehicle crash that occurred just outside of Lawrenceburg. Emergency services responded quickly, and while others involved in the crash were treated for injuries, Taylor tragically succumbed to hers at the scene or shortly after. News of her passing spread quickly through social media and local outlets, prompting an immediate outpouring of condolences, memories, and tributes from those who knew her well, and even from those who didn't know her personally but felt moved by the story of her loss. Friends and loved ones described Taylor as someone who lit up every room she walked into. She had a zest for life and was known for her laughter, her unwavering support of others, and her ability to listen without judgment. She had a deep love for animals, a passion for art, and dreams that she was steadily working toward. Dreams that now live on in the memories shared by those who knew her best. Taylor had been actively involved in her local community since her early teens. She worked part-time at a locally owned cafe where patrons often commented on her friendly demeanor and the sincere interest she took in people's lives. Her co-workers remember her as dependable, uplifting, and full of creative ideas. In school, Taylor was involved in student leadership, environmental clubs, and theater productions. She had a flair for storytelling, which she often expressed through poetry and short films she created on her phone. As the community processes her passing, candlelight vigils have been held in her memory. One gathering at the Lawrenceburg Town Square brought together dozens of residents, classmates, family members, and local leaders who shared stories and moments of silence to honor her life. Flowers, photos, and heartfelt messages now decorate a growing memorial near the site of the accident, a symbol of the love that surrounded Taylor throughout her life. At the vigil, Taylor's high school art teachers spoke of her creative talent and quiet leadership, recalling how Taylor once organized a charity art auction to benefit animal shelters. A family friend read aloud a poem Taylor had written just months before her death, a piece about resilience, hope, and the enduring power of kindness. It was a haunting yet beautiful reminder of how much she had to offer and how deeply she understood the human spirit. Her family, in a statement released through a local church, expressed their overwhelming grief but also gratitude for the community's support. They shared that Taylor had always valued connection, whether it was through heartfelt conversations, acts of kindness, or her creative pursuits. In her honor, the family is asking that instead of flowers, donations be made to a local animal shelter or mental health initiative, two causes that were close to her heart. In moments like these, we are reminded of life's fragility and the suddenness with which things can change. Taylor's story is not only one of tragedy, but also of inspiration, a call to cherish our time, our relationships, and the small, beautiful moments that often go unnoticed. Her life, though cut short, reminds us all to live with intention and kindness. As investigators continue to examine the cause of the crash, conversations around road safety and responsible driving have taken on renewed urgency in the community. Local officials have reiterated the importance of seatbelt use, reduced speed in rural areas, and distracted driving prevention. Taylor's passing has sparked a movement among local youth to promote safe driving awareness, with some planning to organize a community event in her name to raise awareness and educate young drivers. Taylor Brooks leaves behind her parents, younger siblings, extended family, and a wide circle of friends and neighbors who will miss her deeply. She also leaves behind a legacy of compassion, creativity, and connection. She was someone who saw the best in people, who lived with her heart open, and who left this world far too soon. Her mother shared that Taylor had a journal she wrote in every morning, little reflections on what she was grateful for, what she hoped to accomplish, and quotes that inspired her. One entry read, "Even small kindnesses can shift the weight of the world." Those words now resonate even more deeply and may serve as a guiding light for those she left behind. As we reflect on her life, may we carry her memory forward by showing more patience, offering more kindness, and choosing to see the good in one another. For Taylor, the greatest tribute we can offer may be to live our lives a little more like she lived hers, with joy, openness, and an unwavering commitment to making others feel seen and valued.
7. Michael Ferguson, Vidor, Texas. Today, we remember and celebrate the life of Michael Ferguson, a beloved member of the Vidor, Texas community whose recent passing has left family, friends, and neighbors heartbroken. Michael's life was one defined by love, resilience, and service, qualities that touched the lives of many throughout his journey. Michael Ferguson was more than a familiar face in Vidor. He was a presence, steady, kind, and unwavering. Friends describe him as a man who lived with purpose, guided by strong values and a heart that always seemed to have room for more. Whether lending a hand during community events, offering words of wisdom to a friend in need, or quietly helping a neighbor with no expectation of recognition, Michael was a beacon of reliability and compassion. Michael's professional life was marked by dedication. He worked for many years in the local construction and home repair industries, known not just for the quality of his work, but for the integrity with which he approached every job. He built more than homes, he built trust. Colleagues respected him deeply for his work ethic, his fairness, and his ability to find solutions in even the most challenging circumstances. Over the years, many in the community came to know Michael not only as a contractor, but as a confidant. He was the person you could call when a pipe burst, when you needed help moving heavy furniture, or when you simply needed someone to talk to. He was dependable in every way, and it was this consistency that made him such a valued part of so many lives. Outside of work, he was a devoted family man. He is remembered by loved ones as a doting father, a loving husband, a proud grandfather, and a loyal friend. His family was the heart of his world, and he often spoke of how grateful he was for the time he had with them. Weekend barbecues, holiday traditions, fishing trips, and simple afternoons at home filled his days with joy. In every photo, he's smiling, his eyes carrying the warmth of a man who understood what really mattered. Those who knew Michael often spoke of his generosity, not only in material terms, but in spirit. He gave freely of his time and energy. He volunteered with local organizations, mentored younger workers in his field, and was always quick to check in on someone going through a hard time. In many ways, Michael was the quiet glue that helped hold his community together. He led by example, never asking for recognition, but always earning respect. His passing came unexpectedly and has left a profound sense of loss in its wake. The town of Vidor, close-knit and strong, has come together to remember Michael in the way he would have wanted, with humility, shared stories, and a focus on supporting one another. Friends and relatives have filled social media with memories and condolences, each one painting a portrait of a man who lived fully and gave freely. A memorial service held at the local church saw standing room-only attendance,
a true testament to how deeply Michael was loved. The ceremony included music he cherished, passages from Scripture, and heartfelt eulogies from family and friends. His eldest daughter recalled how he taught her to ride a bike, to be brave, and to always finish what she started. A longtime friend spoke of their decades of fishing trips and how Michael's laughter could carry across the water like sunlight. A cousin reflected on how Michael was the one everyone leaned on at family gatherings, both for advice and for lighthearted jokes. The Ferguson family has requested that in lieu of flowers, donations be made to local veterans groups, a cause close to Michael's heart. Though he was not a veteran himself, he had enormous respect for those who served, and often found quiet ways to support them through volunteer work and donations. He also made it a point to support homeless outreach programs, quietly dropping off care packages or warm meals without fanfare. Michael's life offers a powerful reminder of the impact that one individual can have, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet, consistent acts of love and service that form the fabric of our communities. His legacy is not measured in accolades or awards, but in the steady, meaningful ways he uplifted those around him. Through every act of kindness, every piece of advice, every shared moment, he left an imprint that time cannot erase. He was also deeply spiritual, often attending Sunday services and participating in the church's men's group, where he found both camaraderie and an outlet for his faith. Fellow congregants often spoke of his calm presence and his thoughtful contributions during discussions. Michael's faith was not loud or showy, it was deeply personal and evident in how he treated others. Michael also enjoyed the simpler things in life. He loved classic country music, particularly artists like Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. On quiet evenings, he could be found on his porch, sipping sweet tea, tapping his foot to old tunes, and watching the sun dip below the horizon. He believed in taking life one day at a time and finding beauty in the ordinary. Michael is survived by his loving wife, his children, grandchildren, siblings, extended family, and countless friends who will carry his memory forward with love and gratitude. He also leaves behind a community that feels the weight of his absence, yet finds comfort in the unity and compassion he helped to build. One of Michael's favorite sayings, according to his grandson, was, "Do right even when no one's looking." And that, in essence, captures the spirit of the man we honor today. His quiet integrity, his fierce love for his family, and his tireless support of others will continue to guide and inspire all who were fortunate enough to know him. May we honor Michael by living a little more like he did, honestly, generously, and with a heart wide open.
8. Dr. Sheila Colla. We pay tribute to the life and legacy of Dr. Sheila Colla, a respected and beloved associate professor in the Faculty of Environmental and Urban Change at York University in Toronto. Dr. Colla's passing has deeply impacted the academic and environmental communities across Canada and beyond. Her career was rooted in passion, scholarship, and a commitment to preserving the natural world, particularly its most vulnerable pollinators. Dr. Colla was known internationally for her expertise in native bee conservation. Her research focused on the health of wild pollinators and how environmental change, including climate shifts and habitat loss, threatened their survival. Through her work, she brought urgent scientific insights to the forefront of environmental policy and public discourse. Her colleagues often described her as not only brilliant and determined, but also deeply compassionate and fiercely driven to make a difference. At York University, Sheila was more than just a researcher. She was a mentor, a collaborator, and an educator who inspired countless students to pursue paths in conservation biology, ecology, and environmental justice. Her classrooms were known for being inclusive and thought-provoking, and she maintained a firm belief that education must always be tied to real-world change. Many of her students have gone on to make significant contributions in environmental fields, carrying her lessons and values forward. Her door was always open, whether for academic guidance or for personal support, and she believed in nurturing her students as whole people, not just scholars. Sheila Colla worked closely with environmental non-governmental organizations, local communities, and government agencies. She believed deeply in translating scientific knowledge into action, whether it was through advising policy, participating in citizen science initiatives, or advocating for sustainable land management practices. Sheila was a bridge between academic rigor and grassroots advocacy. She was also a sought-after speaker at international conferences and policy summits, where she eloquently conveyed the urgency of biodiversity protection and environmental justice. One of her most notable contributions was co-founding the Bumblebee Watch program, an innovative citizen science project that helped track and conserve declining bumblebee populations across North America. The project not only collected crucial data, but also educated thousands of people about the importance of pollinators. Through this and many other initiatives, Dr. Colla demonstrated that science could be both collaborative and transformative. Her fieldwork took her to diverse habitats, from urban gardens to remote woodlands, documenting species, engaging local stakeholders, and building a living archive of ecological knowledge. Beyond her research, Dr. Colla was a powerful advocate for equity in science. She was a vocal supporter of underrepresented voices in academia and tirelessly worked to challenge structural barriers that prevented access to scientific careers. Her colleagues remember her courage in speaking truth to power and her persistent push for more inclusive, community-based research models. She actively mentored young women and BIPOC scholars, recognizing the importance of creating supportive pathways for future environmental leaders. Her efforts helped influence new hiring practices and equity policies within her institution and beyond. Sheila also published extensively, authoring and co-authoring dozens of peer-reviewed papers, white papers, and opinion pieces in leading journals and news outlets. Her voice was widely recognized not only within scientific circles, but also in the public domain. She frequently contributed to major media outlets and podcasts, making complex ecological topics accessible and relevant to broader audiences. Her ability to communicate with clarity, warmth, and urgency made her a respected spokesperson for endangered species and environmental ethics. Outside of her professional endeavors, Sheila was a warm, witty, and genuine person. She had a love for music, storytelling, and the outdoors. She found joy in hiking, gardening, and exploring the very ecosystems she fought so hard to protect. Her friends recall her humor, her fierce loyalty, and her uncanny ability to light up a room with both intellect and heart. She was known to host lively dinner parties, where discussions would range from native plants to global politics, always with a good playlist in the background and laughter echoing late into the evening. Sheila had a strong connection to her roots and was deeply influenced by her upbringing and the people who encouraged her intellectual curiosity from a young age. She often credited her early passion for nature to family walks through local parks, her fascination with insects as a child, and her high school biology teacher who introduced her to field science. These experiences shaped a lifelong mission to protect the creatures she so deeply admired. Her passing has prompted a wave of public mourning from across the globe. Students, colleagues, activists, and scientists have shared heartfelt tributes online, celebrating her accomplishments while expressing profound sorrow over the loss of such a rare and irreplaceable voice in the conservation world. Many have noted her unique ability to balance scientific excellence with moral clarity, fighting not just to understand the world, but to heal it. A memorial service was held at York University where faculty, students, and members of the greater environmental community came together to honor her memory. Eulogies were filled with stories of Sheila's groundbreaking research, her mentorship, and her unwavering commitment to equity in science. Several environmental groups have also announced plans to establish scholarships and fellowships in her name, ensuring her legacy lives on in the next generation of conservation leaders. In addition, there are ongoing discussions to name a pollinator garden and community lab in her honor, creating lasting spaces of education and reflection. Dr. Colla is survived by her partner, family, colleagues, students, and a wide network of friends and collaborators who will continue her work with the same passion and purpose she so generously gave to the world. Her absence will be deeply felt, but her voice, her values, and her vision will continue to resonate through the many lives she touched. May her spirit endure in every buzzing bee, every blooming wildflower, and every person inspired to protect our fragile planet. And may we honor her by continuing the work she began, with courage, humility, and unshakable hope.
Junior Staggs, Puryear, Tennessee. Today we honor the life of Junior Staggs, a beloved figure in Puryear, Tennessee, and a name well known across the auctioneering community. His recent passing has left a void not just in the town he called home, but in the hearts of those he touched through his vibrant personality, unmatched talent, and boundless generosity. Born and raised in Henry County, Junior Staggs was a man of many gifts, but it was his gift of gab that led him to a successful career as a professional auctioneer. Known for his quick wit, unmistakable voice, and deeply rooted authenticity, Junior brought life and laughter to every auction he called. His chant was more than a professional skill. It was a calling, and one that connected him to people from all walks of life. From local estate sales to regional competitions, his reputation for fairness, energy, and warmth earned him a loyal following and widespread respect. Junior didn't just auction items, he built relationships. Whether he was calling bids for charity events, estate sales, or community fundraisers, he made everyone feel welcome, seen, and heard. He was especially passionate about causes close to home, volunteering his services regularly to support local families, churches, schools, and civic groups. In a profession driven by energy and connection, Junior stood out as a master, an auctioneer who truly cared. He believed that giving back was not just an option, but a responsibility, and he never hesitated to lend his time and voice when it was needed most. Beyond his professional acclaim, Junior was a devoted father, husband, friend, and neighbor. He had a big heart and a magnetic personality. Those who knew him personally often describe him as the kind of person who never met a stranger and always found a way to brighten your day. His humor, humility, and kindness made him not only respected, but deeply loved by his community. He was the guy who would stop on the side of the road to help a stranger change a tire, or drop off a hot meal for someone going through a hard time. That generosity of spirit defined who he was. In addition to his work on the auction floor, Junior was active in mentoring the next generation of auctioneers. He believed in passing down his knowledge and craft, frequently encouraging young professionals to hone their skills and find their own voices. His advice was always heartfelt and often humorous, but behind every joke was a genuine desire to help others succeed. He taught that auctioneering wasn't just about speed or sales, it was about storytelling, trust, and integrity. Junior's impact went far beyond the microphone. He was a regular fixture at local diners, parades, and sports fields. He loved Tennessee traditions, good barbecue, and most of all, he loved spending time with his family. His life was a celebration of simple joys and meaningful connections. He cherished Sunday afternoons with loved ones, impromptu fishing trips, and the kind of front porch conversations that stretched well into the evening. He found beauty in everyday moments and took time to appreciate the people around him. As news of his passing spread, the outpouring of tributes from friends, colleagues, and fellow auctioneers has been overwhelming. From heartfelt social media posts to public memorials, the messages have all shared a common theme: Junior made a difference. Whether through his charitable work, his entertaining auctions, or just a friendly conversation at the gas station, he left a mark. Some shared stories of how Junior helped them through hard times, using his network and influence to connect people with resources, jobs, and support. Others recalled moments when his humor brought comfort in the face of difficulty. A memorial service celebrating his life was held at a local church in Puryear, where hundreds gathered to share stories, laughter, and tears. The service included a final auction, this time a symbolic one, honoring the legacy of a man who gave so much of himself to others. In a powerful moment, colleagues from across the state took turns on the microphone, each offering a tribute through the rhythm and cadence of the craft they all shared. It was a fitting farewell, one that echoed with emotion and admiration. Junior Staggs is survived by his loving family, including his wife, children, grandchildren, and extended relatives who continue to carry forward his values and love of community. He also leaves behind countless friends and a legacy of compassion, service, and unforgettable moments. While his voice may be silent now, his spirit echoes in every life he touched and every cause he championed. His influence will continue through the work of those he mentored, the events he helped build, and the friendships he nurtured. Let us remember Junior not only for what he did, but for who he was. A man who believed in the power of people, the value of community, and the joy of a good story told with heart. Let us carry forward his spirit by living with kindness, giving freely, and speaking from the heart, just as he always did.
10. The missing case of Nevaeh Gardner. Today, we turn our attention to a deeply urgent and concerning case out of Charleston County, South Carolina. The disappearance of Nevaeh Gardner, a missing teenager whose sudden absence has prompted an outpouring of community concern and a growing effort to bring her home safely. Nevaeh Gardner is a 15-year-old girl described by those who know her as bright, curious, and compassionate. With a love for music and a smile that could light up a room, Nevaeh is the kind of person whose presence is deeply felt. She is a beloved daughter, sister, and friend. Her disappearance has not only left a void in her family's life, but also sent shockwaves through the broader Charleston County community. Nevaeh was last seen in the Charleston County area under circumstances that remain unclear. Law enforcement officials have classified her as a runaway, but there is growing concern for her safety. In many cases, especially involving young girls, what begins as a runaway situation can escalate quickly, particularly when vulnerabilities such as age, emotional distress, or outside influence are involved. Because of this, Nevaeh's case is being treated with urgency by the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, which has asked for the public's help in locating her. Flyers with Nevaeh's photo and identifying details have been circulated across neighborhoods, schools, community centers, and online platforms. Her image has been shared thousands of times on social media. Friends and family have also launched awareness campaigns, hoping that someone may recognize her and come forward with crucial information. Every effort is being made to ensure her face and story are seen and heard. The national context makes Nevaeh's case all the more pressing. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, over 300,000 cases of missing children are reported in the United States each year. Of those, a large percentage are teenagers who leave home voluntarily but find themselves in dangerous or exploitative situations. Runaway youth are particularly at risk for human trafficking, homelessness, and physical or emotional abuse. These risks increase the longer a child is missing, which is why time is of the essence. Nevaeh's family has been vocal in their heartbreak and determination. In emotional public statements and social media posts, her loved ones have shared how deeply they miss her and how desperately they want her safe return. They describe her as thoughtful, kind-hearted, and full of dreams for the future. Her mother has pleaded for Nevaeh to come home, assuring her that she is loved unconditionally and that there will always be open arms waiting for her. As this case continues to unfold, the support from the Charleston community has been nothing short of remarkable. Volunteers have formed search parties, local businesses have donated printing materials for flyers, and schools have shared her information with students and parents. Churches have held prayer vigils and offered space for organizing efforts. The community's response has underscored the shared understanding that when a child goes missing, everyone must step up. Local advocacy groups focused on child safety and youth outreach have also stepped in, offering resources and guidance to families facing similar situations. They emphasize the importance of open dialogue with teens, mental health support, and creating safe avenues for young people to ask for help. For many, Nevaeh's case is a reminder of how critical it is to create strong support systems both inside and outside the home. The Charleston County Sheriff's Office continues to follow leads and is working in coordination with regional and national missing persons networks. Authorities have urged anyone who may have seen Nevaeh or has any information, no matter how small, to come forward. Tips can be reported anonymously, and each one has the potential to bring her closer to home. Let us remember that behind every missing person alert is a story, a family, and a future. Nevaeh Gardner deserves to come home. She deserves to be safe, and her family deserves answers. Please share her story, keep her in your thoughts, and help amplify the call for her return. Thank you for watching Trending Notice Media. We appreciate your support and hope that our daily updates have been a meaningful way for you to stay informed and remember those who have been affected. If you'd like to stay up to date on our latest videos, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Sharing our content with others can also help us spread awareness and support those who are searching for loved ones. As we conclude today's update, we remember the lives that have been touched by tragedy and loss. May we honor their memories with kindness, compassion, and support for one another. Trending Notice Media will be back tomorrow with another daily update. Until then, take care and stay safe.